Hello everyone and welcome to my review play of Terraria. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll build our first character here. And in case you haven't heard of this game, which would be a dire shame because it's really a fun game, more or less it is a 2D version of Minecraft. I think there's a lot more to it than that. They do add a lot to the game that I think Minecraft does not do. And I feel like this game has a lot more character than Minecraft, which is not the most popular opinion. I do tend to prefer this game over Minecraft. I find this game is just, there's a lot more components to be getting from the ground, there's a lot more weapons, there's a lot more variability in the game, and the game feels a lot more procedurally generated than Minecraft in my opinion, but let's go with the green mohawk for our character here. It doesn't really matter because once you get armor on, which starts on pretty early in the game, you won't really be able to tell who your character is, but you will be able to tell based on your homestead, which you can put a lot of personality into, and you can build it however you want. If you want to build a floating cabin in the air with you know, spikes running down from the bottom of it, you can. If you wanted to basically build everything underground, you can. If you wanted to basically build up your land all the way up to, there's some floating islands in the game, you can do that and have a castle up just floating up in the air, which is kind of cool. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as you can see, I've a few small worlds here I've been working on a little bit, but trying to find my perfect place to have a game in. We'll do a large area, of course, so you can kind of see how expansive this game can be. And here we are. So it looks like we've started on a bit of a plateau here, which is actually a pretty heavy advantage at the beginning of the game. At nighttime there's a lot of enemies that come out, and they are specific to night, and they are really quite awful to deal with. When you first start the game, there's Eyes of Cthulhu, there's these floating little eyes that will attack you, which I do appreciate the Lovecraftian reference. And there's zombies that come out, and they will knock down the doors in your homestead, and they will attack you even if you're trying to just, you know, be as passive as possible during night. But you'll see it. It gets pretty hectic, and later in the game you won't even notice if it's day or night, because you'll be digging so much. And you'll be so overpowered, ideally, that enemies won't really be too much of a problem for you, depending on where you are. Let's get some wood for our house instead. And as you can see with the wood, what's really nice about this game, which I really enjoy, is so we're getting these little pieces of wood here. You can use that to build armor, you can use that to build weapons. First you start off with wood, pickaxe, wood, you know, wood sword, wood, you know, axe, which you get rid of pretty quickly. But you can use any component for pretty much anything. You know, if later in the game you'll get stone and you'll get lava blocks potentially, and if you wanted to, you could just build a house out of those. And there's a lot of really cool different stuff you can do with this game. So one thing I will mention is, so when you're digging in the earth, it does tend to get a little tedious in the game, which, you know, is to be expected in a game like this, I would say. You know, there's a lot of work that you put into, you know, building up the world that you want to build and getting the armors you want, and it will get a little tedious, but oddly enough, it still is really fun to play. But anyways, during those portions, I will be fast-forwarding the gameplay, just so you get a little bit more of an action-oriented playthrough rather than just, you know, just this really slow kind of draw into what items and everything else I have. And I may do a few cuts now and again to, you know, skip some of that grinding so you can kind of see what I build out of all of this, but we'll see. Definitely so far we have a pretty good start with the game. We're gonna have our good homestead. We're gonna go ahead and get started on building that, and then from there I think we'll go ahead and get started, maybe doing a little bit exploring, maybe a little bit of digging, see if we can find, there's some stone that's pretty easy to find in the beginning of the game. You'll need that for a furnace, and when you find minerals, you'll be using that furnace to basically smelt those into ingots that you can be using to make armor or whatever else you'll be wanting to build with those. And it's completely up to you. I mean, in games like this, there really isn't a right way to play it. There's an efficient way of playing it, but that's what I like so much about games like this, is you can just really just do your own thing and kind of make it your own and go as slowly as you want. And if you know more about the game and you know exactly what to do, that's great and everything, but I find it's easy just to kind of just go along with the game and do your own thing and do what you want to do with the world you're in. So I keep forgetting you have to use, once the wood's set down, you have to use a pickaxe to get it, so it's one of those things you have an association with, but as you can see, you can't just build up in the air, you have to build up leading from something, ideally from the ground, but you can destroy the blocks from there, so everything will be floating. And when things are floating, that's when you can kind of get creative with what you want to do. You can make little bungalows that are just hanging off of the side of your homestead. You can build a castle with buttresses and everything else, and you can get pretty creative and pretty crazy with it. I mean, you can definitely look online, and people have built giant, huge castles with biomes attached to them, where they take, you know, the ground from different biomes, and they'll say they'll take a snow biome, they'll take snow down, and plants that are in there, and they'll have glass, you know, so it can get sunlight. Not that I'm sure that matters, but you can have these little biomes just hanging off the side of your castle if you wanted to, and you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with the game. There's definitely more of a creative tool than anything else, but oh. Not quite the front of the homestead. Let's get rid of that. Unfortunately, sometimes if you don't have a grappling hook, which you can get later in the game, or you know, say climbing boots or anything else, you do have to do a lot of jumping if you want to set something up a little bit higher than you can reach, which makes sense. I don't think it's anything wrong with the game on that facet. But anyways, to build a homestead, you'll be needing 2 chairs, 1 dining room table, 1 workbench. You'll be needing wood blocks to go behind the walls. You can't just have, you know, floating wood or floating stone, whatever you use to build your homes, just kind of sitting there. You have to have actual, you know, semblance of a house there. And of course, you'll need 2 doors, 1 or 2 doors actually, and torches so you can see at night because it gets really dark. But anyways, you want to build as many homesteads as you can to start off the game, in my opinion, because that will allow all the NPCs to start showing up in your homestead, and they will sell you just a little bit of everything. Each NPC has a different specialty, so some of them will sell you, you know, tools that will actually let you dye your armor and dye your clothing so you can look a little bit different, which is cool. There will be a nurse who will come in who you can buy healing items from, or you can get healing from her. There's traders who sell, there's like a mining helmet, there's traders who sell all sorts of stuff. And you actually get gold, and you get coins, basically, from the enemies that you kill. So there's a lot of incentive on killing as many enemies as you can, collecting as much gold as you can, and when you die, I'm currently in normal mode, you do lose a portion of your gold, so you want to make sure that you get that back home as soon as you can and dump that off before you go back out again. Which is nice that it allows you to do that, rather than just continuously losing all of your gold if you get stuck in a hard area. But as you can see, we're building the wall here, and you do have to be very specific where you place these, because if there's one off, it won't be technically considered a homestead for someone to stay in. As you can see, I need to build a few more. So I think 44 is more than enough. We'll have some extra for next time. So let's build these up here, and we almost have our first homestead. Within just a few minutes of playing the game. Of course, I played it so far. When I first played it, it took me a while to figure out a lot of the stuff. The game doesn't quite tell you exactly what to do, which is nice. You have to figure out a lot of the stuff on your own. So I just built a wood mallet, which you'll need to destroy pretty much any furniture you build, walls you build, and everything else, so will be necessary. As you can see, you can map different items to different keys. I'm playing on PS4, so it's different dialogue buttons, which is nice if you need to get something really quickly. It takes a while to remember where they are, but you'll get to that point. So let's get rid of this here and make it look a little bit more clean. Alright, looks like we're ready for a door here. Alright, so we have our first homestead built. Finally. It's still missing a few components. We're missing some torches. And I think I'll build another door here so I can get through. I don't think I quite have the jumping ability to jump over my homestead in case I need to get it in a pinch. But let's see if there's anything else we can build here. We're going to be needing those torches. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see, torches. It's down here somewhere. Alright, so we need 3 gels. So you get those from the slime monsters. They're very similar to what I would say the slime monsters from maybe Dragon Age, except for the eyes and everything else. But anyways, let's go find one of those so we can build some torches. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the gameplay during some, you know, more tedious portions of the game so you don't get bored. A little bit more action-oriented and, you know, so you can kind of see the game a little bit more full without having to see every single step in it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started now. Here we go. A little bit faster. Alright, now that we're going a little bit faster, you can kind of see this game in full here. In case you haven't seen any of my other videos, I do what I call review plays. So I basically will play a game through and I'll review it as I'm going through it. And at the end of the video game, I will go ahead and post a review of the game so you can kind of see a, you know, more of a shorter view on what I think about the game and if it's worth playing. I do definitely say Terraria is worth playing. I have played it before. I haven't played it since all these patches that have come out. It's been about maybe a year or so. I played it intermittently. My main playthrough is about 2 years ago, so there's a lot of new stuff here even for me to kind of go through, which is really nice that the developers have put in that time to make sure they refine the game as much as possible. They're actually making another Terraria game. I think it's called Terraria Underworld. That's scheduled to come out in 2016, which I'm really excited for. I will definitely get that as soon as it comes out and do some videos on it. Hopefully I'll be done with this playthrough on it and kind of give you a good idea of what's changed. But since they're coming out with an entirely new game, I'm expecting hopefully a lot. Hopefully it won't just be like a super patch, but let's go ahead and dig back up to our homestead. So as you can see in the beginning of the game, you can't really fly, you can't really grapple, which is all stuff you can do later on in the game. You kind of have to build your way up back if you get stuck somewhere, and if you build too deep and you want to go back down to where you were, you will definitely fall down to your death. So there's a lot of challenge involved in that, and you have to think a lot. You can actually use a lot of these blocks that you are destroying to basically build stairs if you wanted to, if you want to take the time for that. I tend to go with the shorter route, but and crap, it's almost night here. I really need to get back to this homestead because zombies are going to come out and they will kill me very quickly. I don't even have any armor yet. So let's see if I can get there on time. Okay, so it looks like we're pretty close to the top here. Almost there. I'm a little worried about being at night soon, but it looks like there's some butterflies to the side, which is usually a good sign that it's still technically day in the game. But we're cutting it awfully close. But anyways, to use an example of how in-depth the crafting system is in this game. So at night, fireflies come out. And basically what you can do with those... Crap, zombies. Shit, gotta get out of there. Okay, anyways, I'll keep talking. So anyways, you can catch fireflies with a bug net, which you can either build out of components, or you can buy from a trader. And basically what you can do is capture the firefly, and then... you know, you'll get some sand from a sand biome, like a desert biome, and you can build that into a glass, didn't make it, and pretty much use that to build a firefly in a glass, which you can use to make as a light source on your homestead or carry it on your person, which is really cool. And that's just a small example of all the different things you can do. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get these torches set, and we should be good to go. We should have our first homestead made, and it'll be the start of something pretty freaking cool if I can get together everything I have in mind for this place. I plan on building basically like a giant castle with a lot of different rooms and everything else, and I want to make it look really cool, and you can get tapestries and everything else. I mean, you could really go to town with decorating these places, but gets pretty freaking crazy. Alright, so it looks like we got our first set of armor here out of the woods, so I'll cut this video off here, but I will see you guys next time for my second video of Terraria, and we will go ahead and get started exploring a little bit and see what all we can do. Alright guys, see ya. Take it easy.